So right now we are establishing all our fall and winter plantings. This is a tiny little bed we put in between the tomatoes and the raspberries when the peas came out. They were all trellised up nice and high, and just wanted to squeak an extra little bit of space into the garden where we could. Probably the first salad green bed we planted for the fall and winter. Here's lettuces shaping up very nicely, and this is the first of the major winter brassica plantings we put in. This is a Russo-Siberian kale grex from Frank Morton up in Philomath with Wild Garden Seeds that I rate as the defining kale population in the world, really. It's that quality, it's that brilliant. This is Steely Green from Peace Seedlings up in Corvallis. They're not actually putting the seed out right now. I have to sort of go up there and collect it directly. It's a glossy green kale. I don't know if you can see that. The glossy kales, they don't photosynthesize as well, I don't think. So I think the gloss stops the sunlight getting in quite as much as it can. So they're a little slower out of the blocks. But I have a suspicion there's a connection between the glossiness and the sweetness genes, because they tend to be incredibly tasty and they're very beautiful, and they're typically the first kale in the garden in the winters that people go for. Then we get into, I don't know what these are. I think these might be broccolis. And then collards. And then here we have another one of Frank Morton's kales. This is Rainbow Lacinato, which I think is probably the most handsome Brassica oleracea going. Huge, magnificent, gorgeous, tasty, hardy, spectacular. He, I think, released that maybe a few years ago. It's come in as a total mainstay for me in the scores of kales I've tried. More of this. Actually, no. I think this might be the. Green glazed collards. And then here we get into the traditional. This is the lacinatos and so on and so forth. Most of you will be familiar with these. And then check out this. Look at this beautiful pink purple ribbed. Yeah. This is a new dazzling blue. This is a new variety from Frank Morton. Hardy, basically pink lacinato with psychedelics added in. Isn't it gorgeous? And then this is Pentland Brig, the classic Hunger Gap kale that is relatively unimpressive a character through most of the winter, and then in the spring turns into a vast food producing machine. This is a class of kales called the Hunger Gap kales that are essentially have been selected through the centuries to be plants that produce very late in the spring when all the other brassicas have gone, and they're the last kale to go off before the chards really come in for us. This is the first major salad green planting. I typically advise people to put 2/3 of their beds into spinach and arugula. I've got carrying 4 varieties of spinach this year. There are only 2 in this bed. I have a large leaf variety Verdal, which I've been growing for many years now, and it's absolutely spectacular. Huge plants, not as hardy, a little more susceptible to snow damage than the lower growing ones. So this is a variety that's come to me through the Organic Seed Alliance, John Navasio's long-term spinach breeding project. We waited years for this material. It's finally out. We're very happy to have it. These are the arugulas. You can see I've got everything on 8-inch spacing. This, God willing, will fill out and turn into an absolute thicket of salad greens. These should get 2 feet high and be spilling out into the bed, just a food producing machine. This is this interspecific kale Asian green cross, Brassica rapa, Brassica napa cross from Tim Peters down in Myrtle Creek. He's one of the great public domain hero plant breeders that no one's really heard about unless you're like an uber geek. And this is an exceptional population. Again, this will get big and happy and diverse and gorgeous. And then we get into the Mizunas. These are the things that add the pizzazz to winter salads. check out this. This is this character. I've mentioned this before, but I've been playing with purple and red Mizunas for years, or at least exploring them. And finally, the breeders, the conventional breeders, have come up with this. Look at this. I don't know which multinational produced this, but I tell you, it is amazing. It's a hybrid, but we're going to roll it into this population, which is what we've been carrying in River Road for certain years. You don't see too much redness in them because the redness gene tends to get pushed out by the greens. But we'll see. That's pretty red. We'll see what happens. Okay. So yeah, with luck, it'll work. And one of the reasons I like to put all these things in a bed is because I could potentially cloche this winter, move the hoops off my nursery benches, put them on here, cover it with plastic if heavy weather comes in, and basically protect it from everything. The Mizunas will go down when the weather gets tough, but really tough, but everything else you could basically probably keep through. This is the first bed of heading brassicas. You can see that they're a little on the pale side. This bed, I think, is a little tired. We've been working it a little hard. So I'm coming in and feeding with fish, but we've got our fall brassicas heading up nicely, the cabbages coming along sweetly. And then we've got something a little disappointing going on here. It looks to me as though it might be simp issue or something. I'm not too sure. More cabbages and so on and so forth. And then I think maybe the overwintering. Oh no, these are the fall broccolis. Chards at the end. Yeah, I had a master gardener come in a few days ago when I told her that I had starts to give away. She was asking for kales. I was like, "You're 6 weeks late, sweetheart." We like to get the brassicas in very late July, early August, so that they can get to a point in late August where they can pop and really put on a lot of growth through September. And these are doing very nicely. What you basically find is that things begin to slow down in earnest in October, and then by the time first, second week in November comes around, things are really grinding to a halt. This is our rutabaga bed. Andrew and Sarah of Adaptive Seeds went over to Europe back in 2006, 2007, moved amongst all the major European independent plant breeders, and basically brought back rutabaga diversity, the likes of which the States had never seen. To our surprise, we found out that basically rutabaga is an incredible overwintering crop. It thrives into winters, puts on size. We'll go down to -10 for a couple of nights, quite happily. It's really astounding, really robust, incredible nutrient density. You drop one on your foot, you'll break a bone, literally. Anyways, we like it, so we put it in. It's one of those classic examples of how local climate steers diet. When you start listening to local climates and soils, your diet tends to shift. And a few years ago, you know, I'd be putting rutabagas out in the nursery, no one would want them. Now everybody's asking for rutabagas. They've caught, they're catching. Rutabagas, the next big thing. And then over here, carrots, beets, parsnips. These we seeded again, super early July. Was it? Yeah, late June, early July. You got to get this stuff in on time. And then what do we have around the back here? Around the back here we have the salad greens ready to go. I've got most of my sites sorted out now. So these are basically going to be going out to town over the course of the next little while to people who want them, need them. Look at that, look at that. Check out this Mizuna. I'm so totally in love. Okay, that's it.